think I'm actually live this time. Remember last time when I was talking for like 4 straight minutes and it turns out that I wasn't live the entire time? I believe the last live stream I did was like the summer league recap that we went on to lose the championship game, or was it the game before that? It might have been the Bulls game actually. I'm trying to remember at the top of my head, but we have some Donovan Mitchell updates. We do, and some of them are pretty important, and it comes out by actually a reliable source. So, you know that past video I made on like that guy from the radio show that had his so-called source with him, that a deal is going to be done soon? Well, it looks like the complete opposite. So throw that video in the trash. I might delete that video, but I appreciate all you guys that clicked on that video. I really appreciate the support. I'm going to be pulling up the chat soon. I hope you guys are doing well, but we have a couple updates that are huge when it comes to the Donovan Mitchell New York Knicks sweepstakes, or just the Donovan Mitchell sweepstakes in general. And what I wanted to talk about real quick is that some people don't understand that the Utah Jazz are in no rush to trade Donovan Mitchell right now. Yes, they traded away Rudy Gobert. Yes, Quinn Snyder stepped down. So a lot of people think they're in rush. Oh yeah, like they're in rush mode to trade Donovan Mitchell, tank for Victor Wembanyama, those whole sweepstakes. They're saying he's the best prospect since LeBron James. Very talented, 7'3", can do a lot out there on the basketball floor. Obviously needs to prove himself, but Donovan Mitchell's under contract until the 2025 to 26 season. And Donovan Mitchell's never come out and said that I'm requesting a trade. The Utah Jazz are just exploring options to trade him. So not like Donovan Mitchell's unhappy. Yes, maybe the Knicks are his preferred destination, but the Utah Jazz are going to be taking their time to make sure that they get as much back as possible. And I don't blame them at all. You could say he's been their best player since Gordon Hayward. You could say he's been one of their best players in franchise history. Despite you thinking about him as a superstar or an all-star, he's still a damn good player, and they're going to try to get as much back as possible, especially if they're going to go in rebuild mode. They're going to want to acquire some young guys that may have a high ceiling, and maybe they don't end up like a Donovan Mitchell, but maybe those young guys that get combined, their ceiling combined, they play as a team, and then it equals the impact of a Donovan Mitchell or even more, because at the end of the day, it is still a team game. And they acquire some draft picks they could utilize through trades if there's a disgruntled star down the line after their players develop or trade up in the draft, or maybe they're already in the position to get a player that skyrockets their franchise. So the Utah Jazz are in no rush. This may go on until like the season. Like, I really think it's possible that this goes on for a very long time, because we're going to be getting into a report, but I want to say what's up to the chat real quick. Let's see what's going on here. What's going on? My man Zev's in the chat. How you doing, man? I accidentally commented on my Broad NBA channel. What's going on, Michael? I hope all is well. What's going on, Danny? What's going on, Brian? I hope all is well. Let's see. Almighty Finesse says, what's good? This is just Ainge trying to gain leverage, but we damn know well none of this team could beat our offer. Yeah, we're going to be getting into the offers, because if you didn't know, NBA.com Basketball Reference, they've done a terrible job updating the rosters. Maybe it's because maybe he hasn't officially signed with the Pistons. I thought he did, or he might be in a few days. Like, when you look at ESPN, when you look at Basketball Reference, they still have Kevin Knox on the Atlanta Hawks, which we know he's now heading over to the Detroit Pistons. Like, there hasn't been some updates on the roster. They still have Kevin Huerter on the Hawks when you know he's on the Kings. But we're going to be going over these teams right here, because obviously these are the teams interested in trading for Donovan Mitchell as well. And I wrote down, I did research on all their young players. Do they have future draft capital? Is it possible they could swoop in and steal Donovan Mitchell? But Shams actually said in the report that we're going to be getting into that the New York Knicks possibly have the best package when it comes to 8 tradable first-round draft picks. Hopefully we don't trade 8 first-round draft picks, but maybe we have better assets as well when it comes to young players, while we have more draft picks than the Miami Heat. What's going on? What's going on, Cash Out James? I hope all is well. What's going on, Jared? We are not out of the Spider sweepstakes. This is just an update that I'm going to be getting into. The Knicks are still trying to get a Donovan Mitchell, but they've even come out and said, or there's been reports, which I agree with the Knicks, Danny Ainge is trying to get so much back. You see 6 first-round draft picks. Most of our young players have a Grimes, Obi, quickly. The Knicks aren't budging, which I love. Previous regimes, if we had Scott Perry and Steve Mills still together, I feel like Steve Mills would have just been like, you know what, it's Donovan Mitchell, I don't care what we give up, it's worth the risk. While Leon Rose is actually thinking long term. He's thinking if we give up these young guys, how will this roster be around Donovan Mitchell? Is our depth going to be good? So I like Leon Rose's thought process of not trying to give up too much. But no, the New York Knicks are not out of the sweepstakes, in my opinion. I think Scotty Barnes is personally untouchable for the Toronto Raptors. Yes, Danny Ainge may seem like a clown, but at the end of the day, wouldn't you want as much back as possible? But I guess you need to know the value at the same time. And I appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't already, smash the like button, click that subscribe button as well for more New York Knicks content. And I started up a broad NBA channel. I just uploaded a video today. If you want to check that out, it's the Hoops Addict. You could subscribe to that if you'd like as well, if you want outside of New York Knicks content. So the first report we're going to be talking about is that the New York Knicks and the Utah Jazz, they're far away from a deal. And like I mentioned earlier in this live stream, remember that video I made? I even said, don't believe this, don't take it with a grain of salt, or maybe don't take it with any grains of salt or anything. And even a Utah Jazz fan commented, like, yeah, they cap a lot. That radio show, that so-called source that got the Darren Williams trade right from the Utah Jazz to the New Jersey Nets, that was all cap. That radio show thing, that so-called source from Utah Jazz Insider, all cap. Throw that in the garbage, because remember he said, if you remember watching my video, that they're probably close to a deal. It looks like they're close to a deal. It's a mega package, but we got to rely upon Shams, who's one of the top sources out there, and maybe he's crushed some New York Knicks fans' dreams with this. So it says, while the New York Knicks and Utah Jazz continue to discuss a potential Donovan Mitchell trade, the two sides are far from an agreement, according to the Athletic Shams. Shams also adds that while the Knicks have the assets to acquire Mitchell, including up to 8 tradable first-round picks, obviously we're not going to be trading 8 first-round picks. If we do, that's wild, and young players, talks have moved slowly between the two sides, and Utah is not in a hurry to trade its 3-time All-Star, obviously because he's under contract for a few more years, so they could be very patient in this process. They don't have to trade him during this offseason. Like I mentioned, Donovan Mitchell hasn't even asked out. This is all on the Utah Jazz after trading a Gobert. Quinn Snyder stepping down. They're like, let's potentially rebuild, build for the future, build a longevity winner. The Knicks are not the only team that has shown interest. The Heat, Raptors, Wizards, they accidentally put Raptors twice. We're going to be getting into that side of it. But it says Mitchell is still not requested trade, but the team is very open to moving him for the right package, following the blockbuster deal where they sent center Rudy Gobert to the Timberwolves, obviously for like 5 first-round picks, got some solid assets back, Malik Beasley to match the contract. You got Patrick Beverley back. You got, I believe they got Jared Vanderbilt back as well. Who's a damn solid basketball player. Like, they got pretty solid assets back. Walker Kessler, that resulted in that one of those picks of the 5 first-round picks. So it says when they sent Rudy Gobert to the Timberwolves earlier this summer and kickstarting a rebuild. And I'm not really surprised at this report, because it's been very dry lately. I was like thinking about, like, I might not make a video in a week because there's no Knicks content. I'm not gonna reach for content like there. Like, everyone was making that radio video, so I was like, why not? So I'm not really surprised. The Jazz, they're not just gonna be talking to the New York Knicks. They're gonna be talking to the other teams around the league, trying to get as much back as possible. But when I get into the several teams interested here, of teams like the Washington Wizards, obviously the New York Knicks, Miami Heat, Atlanta Hawks, Hornets, Raptors, Kings, all interested in Donovan Mitchell. I did research, even though I know the young players pretty much anyway on these other teams, because I'm not just a Knicks fan, I'm an NBA fan in general. I was like, all right, most of the teams have the draft picks, but how much will they value their young players? I'm not saying Obi could be a future All-Star, but I think Obi could be a very quality player in this league when he's in the position to be successful. Grimes fits today's NBA, 3-and-D. I'm not saying I'll trade him, but I'm just talking about our young players in general. Quickly, he can shoot the 3 ball. He's improving on defense. He's improved playmaking. Jazz may value him. Cam Reddish is raw. We'll see what happens with Cam Reddish, and we have 8 tradable first-round draft picks. So, wait, let me read the chat a little bit more. Don't want to ignore you guys at all. Tell Danny, go find a fool. Well, actually, let's get to this guy, Arturo. Do you have any updates, or are you going to repeat all the news we know already? Well, this is actually new. Unless you watch other channels, I might be coming later. I know my man Knicks Media uploaded this like a few hours ago. He does a great job being on top of it, uploading it. But if you haven't heard about this today, it is new. We didn't know about these brand new teams being interested, and maybe you knew like some speculation. Like I had a feeling we're far away from the deal, but it's officially come out by Shams. But it says, "Do you have any updates, or are you gonna repeat all the news we know already?" But I hope this is new for you, but I appreciate you tuning in. Tell Danny go find a fool to agree to his asking price. They said Raptors are a serious threat. I did see that. The Raptors are a serious threat. Yeah, I did make a video on that. You talking about the Knicks Westbrook thing? I talked about that. Yeah, we would buy out Westbrook because he wouldn't fit. Like we already we'll have Brunson, but they said also we're only doing the Westbrook thing if we get Donovan Mitchell, if we get him. Because I understand that outlook. Because a lot of people think we signed Brunson to that mega deal. We have Randall under contract. If we get Mitchell via trade, who's already on a big deal under contract for a few years, you're going to have to sign RJ eventually. So a lot of people think we'll be capped out, you know? So if we do trade a Randall for Westbrook, wouldn't play, we would buy him out and would give us more flexibility in the future free agency to really raise our ceiling of this basketball team. So there you go. But yeah, 7 teams interested here. And I actually wrote down in my notes like the top young players that can be tradable. Like for example, with the Raptors, you could put Chris Boucher there, even though he's not as young as some people think. Coming out of college, I remember when I was much younger, I thought he came out of like overseas. But for example, he can't be traded until like January, I believe. The same thing with Mitch. That's why Mitch can't be involved in trade talks, even though I don't think Mitch would be traded anyway. He can't be traded till January because we went on to sign him, you know? So the Wizards are the first team we're going to be talking about here. So the Wizards, obviously, Bradley Beal Supermax. Yeah. So that was just a crazy move. I honestly think if they don't get another star alongside him or a superstar, they're going to regret that in a few years because they're not ready to compete now. Some people may say they have no choice, but it's just like, would you rather approach a rebuild or sign Beal to that much money? Let me know in the chat. But the Wizards, they're trying to get Beal help probably. They drafted Johnny Davis from Wisconsin, looked very shaky in the summer league. Not going to judge him based off the summer league, but how much are the Jazz interested in a Johnny Davis? He's on a rookie contract. They want some flexible contracts, you know. They're not trying to take on these mega deals. Rui Hachimura was in the same draft class as RJ Barrett, 2019 NBA draft. He needs to stay healthy. I know he took some time away from basketball this past season due to mental health, and he had a lot of things going on, but when he's out there on the floor, he's a pretty solid player coming out of Gonzaga. Maybe he doesn't have the highest of ceiling, but he can make an impact. But you're going to have to pay him as well because he has a contract year coming up. You have Daniel Gafford, athletic center. If he puts it together, maybe he could be solid. Denny Avdia. Denny Avdia was taken in 2020. Good defender. Still trying to improve his offensive game. And then they have their picks. They don't have they might get their 2023 pick back because the Knicks have the protected 2023 Wizards pick, which I believe was protected top 14. So if it falls out of that top 14, it'll be the New York Knicks pick. But if it doesn't, the Wizards will hold on to that. But outside of that, they do have assets. But it comes down to, do you think the Knicks have better young players than the Wizards? Do you think those are more attractive to them as well? But then, so let me know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that in the chat. Let's see what you guys saying. I appreciate you guys being here, by the way. I really, really do appreciate it. We got 11 likes in the chat. We have 38 people. Let's see if we can get 20 likes. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's see. If we give up RJ and 4 first-round picks for Scotty Barnes, would the Raptors accept it? I think Scotty Barnes is personally untouchable for the Toronto Raptors. I appreciate that, Arturo. Yo, what's going on, Pudge? I hope all is well. Wait, is that true? Randall to LA, or you're just saying that? If Randall sacrifices his play and comes off the bench, that'll be pretty nice. I think he might just be saying that, but I know about those rumors and all that. This just a move to get the Knicks to panic and fold. Yeah, they're trying to get leverage, which I feel like they always do to the big markets if it's LA, if it's the New York Knicks. But I honestly think these teams are interested as well. And a Donovan Mitchell. And this is coming out by Shams. This isn't some like clown source, you know. Do you think the Knicks can just trade 8 picks, however you work it out? Can we keep all our young? Oh, so you're saying trade 8 first-round picks and then keep our young guys. So 8 first-round picks sounds like a lot because trading picks is risky. I know a lot of people when the Nets traded for James Harden, it's like those picks mean nothing. They're going to be competing for the NBA Finals, but then you see this whole situation going on. Like, there's no certainty when it comes to your future as a basketball club. There's no certainty. So those picks are going to be valuable now for the Houston Rockets. And then you see the Minnesota Timberwolves thing, 5 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert, giving up some solid young pieces or just nice pieces. They're not some stars or anything, but solid role players. Everyone's like, they're going to be competing. But I don't. When they traded for Gobert, Gobert kind of gets exposed in the playoffs, despite him being a very good rim protector. He's a liability offensively in the playoffs. So there's no certainty with those draft picks as well. You don't know where your team's going to be in 5 years. But the thing with trading these picks, you can't trade in back-to-back years. You can't trade your picks in back-to-back years. So we would still our own picks in back-to-back years. So not like we wouldn't have picks at all. It is a lot of picks, but it is a risk at the same time because it's just like 8 first-round picks. If like you would have to be confident you're going to be holding up that Larry O'Brien trophy or coming close to holding up that Larry O'Brien trophy because you never know, some falling out could happen. But do you think the Knicks? I think they would want young guys back because there's still an uncertainty with picks, even though you could trade picks for like stars or trade up in the draft. But I don't think there's a situation that we can just trade all those picks and not give up any young guys. But you could look at it from the optimistic point of view, though. Like if that does happen, like well, we can't trade our picks back to back, and not like they're going to be all of our picks anyway, because we got some of them on draft night. But they're looking for unprotected picks, and the ones we got on draft night were protected. Thank you, Jared. I really do appreciate that. But getting back into this, so what would your guys' thoughts be on the Wizards? Like, do you think they value those players that I mentioned? All right, so now you look at the Raptors. They have OG Anunoby, who I think could be an attractive piece. Wait, let me see how much money is on OG Anunoby's contract. Like, they might just like ignore the contract because I think he's just a damn good player. Some people think he's overrated. Some people think he's underrated. The Raptors players, I feel like, are just very damn good players, and I feel like they kind of get disrespected. So OG Anunoby signed a 4-year, $72 million contract in 2021. He's getting paid 17 mil this upcoming season. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2025. So he's getting paid like 17, 18, and $19 million a year. Maybe that's a risk you take. Well, I don't think it's a risk. Maybe it's just like I don't think the Raptors want to take on that type of money, but I honestly think that's not a lot of money for a player of his caliber. You have Gary Trent Jr., who's a hot and cold player. Maybe they like him. Obviously came out of Duke. Chris Boucher just signed him, though, can't trade him. But maybe there's a situation that they're patient with the trade, and they trade him later on, and then he's eligible to be traded. I don't think they're that high on Malachi Flynn. Kind of fell off my radar. I used to be high on him coming out of San Diego State. And then they have draft picks. So I don't know how much they really are in love with the Raptors players they could potentially trade. Do they like Delano Banton? I don't think they're trading Scotty Barnes. Thank you, Arturo. I really appreciate that. Arturo, are you new to the channel? If you are, I appreciate being here. I really do. But I don't know how much they'll value that Raptors package. Obviously, they'll be attracted to the unprotected picks. That's one of the top things they're really locked in on, trying to get those picks. But now the Hawks. I know Knicks fans love the Atlanta Hawks. I know they love Trae Young. That's their favorite player, you know? One of the biggest Knicks villains since, like, Reggie Miller. Except we went farther in those Reggie Miller days in the 90s. I didn't watch them, but I know about the history and all that. So you look at the Atlanta Hawks. John Collins, they're trying to trade, but I feel like at this point they're just going to run it back with John Collins. They don't want, like, they probably look at John Collins as a good player, but they don't want that contract. I really don't think they want that contract. Let's see how much money is he making this upcoming season. I really don't think they want that contract though, personally. That's just my opinion. He's a solid player though, or he's a damn good player. He's not an all-star, but so let's see how much money he's making this upcoming season. So originally he signed that 5-year, $125 million contract. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2026. He's gonna get paid $23 million a year this upcoming season or this upcoming year. Then 25 mil, 26 mil. Then I believe he's like a player option in 2026 or it's a club option. So let's see. Don't bring up the 90s. Yeah, I agree. I'm just interested to see where he's gonna go. So John Collins, I don't think he's that attractive to them because of the contract. If he was like on a rookie contract, I feel like they would take him in a heartbeat. They took AJ Griffin, obviously. He fell. Didn't he fall to like 20 out of Duke? Not great defensively. Very good shooter. Shot nearly like 45%. He had some injuries, so I think there is more of a ceiling there with his athleticism. Maybe the Hawks hold on to him, but maybe you could throw like AJ Griffin in there because he's an attractive piece because you can shoot the three ball. You're pretty athletic in today's NBA. It's definitely a recipe for success. You're on a rookie contract, brings you some flexibility. But I feel like this is who they would want. This is the piece that kind of scares me if I'm the New York Knicks, if the Hawks and the Utah Jazz get deep into these trade conversations. I feel like DeAndre Hunter is very valued around the league. I know he had that one big game against the Heat, and some people may be like, I'm hyping him up, but he's a damn good defender that can shoot the three ball. He knows his role. He doesn't try to do too much, but I feel like he has higher potential than people think. I liked him coming out of Virginia. I liked him more than Jarrett Culver. I know a lot of people like Jarrett Culver more than Hunter, but I feel like the Hawks are going to try to hold on to Hunter, but that's a piece I think the Jazz would probably try to get. Eventually, you're going to have to pay in Hunter. I don't know how much like they're going to value him to what contract, but I feel like that's a piece that the Knicks should look out for. But they have picks as well. Let's see as well what's going on. In the chat, Danny Ainge camp trying so hard to scare the Knicks into overpaying. Got Shams reporting that other teams. Maybe that is it. I know Woj literally tweeted out what I forgot what it was, but he was like defending Leon because Leon and Woj have connections together when it came to that Jalen Brunson tampering thing. No problem, Danny. And why? That's starting to become my mood. Like, I've given you guys my perspective that if we get Mitchell, fine. We're going to have to give up a good amount because it's Donovan Mitchell. I just don't want to give up so much to the point that it's like, you only do this if you think you can compete for a Larry O'Brien trophy, in my opinion. Um, but I'm okay with not getting them and rolling with the young guys. But I want Tibbs gone. That's my approach. I'm not saying for this upcoming season, but at least soon. Because Tibbs is a good coach. He's just not the right coach for this team personally. If we get Mitchell, obviously we hold on to him. Like, eventually does play the young guys, but it's more than just playing the young guys. It's putting them in the position to be successful, not having Obi Toppin stand in the corner, not running these guys in the ground, giving them so many minutes, you know, not taking Cam out when he's one of the main reasons we're in the game, or Grimes. But I feel like I would pay Hunter. I don't know how much, but they definitely would have to pay him. His contract's coming up. You would trade Randall for Collins. Would you guys do that? But I'm okay with both because I'm someone that would like to build the team organically and build a longevity winner. If you could find that flexibility within a Donovan Mitchell trade that you give up, I think the least amount of picks we would give up is like 4 or 5, but that depends on the young players we give up. If we give up less picks, we would probably be giving up more young players personally. So it's an interesting situation. But I would do that Randall trade and buy out Westbrook. But at the same time, with the Lakers, I feel like that Westbrook like contract's so hard to move on from. Would they give up a pick, which would help us? We know Leon loves his picks, so maybe Leon could finesse like a pick out of them. Because we would have to do that, in my opinion, to bring us more flexibility within the cap. Because we can't be capped out, or that can't be our ceiling of that team. And this team goes as far as RJ Barrett goes, in my opinion. Let's see. Yo, what's going on, Knicks fan Brazil? How you doing? What's going on, John? I hope all is well. So, we're going to be getting into the next team here. I'm going to be talking about the Charlotte Hornets. So, now you take a look at the Charlotte Hornets. Miles Bridges situation. What a clown. What a joke. Just F him. F Miles Bridges, honestly. Got LaMelo Ball. You have Kai Jones. Didn't play a lot. Went on to draft Mark Williams. You got PJ Washington. Some people were waiting for him to blossom. They took Book Knight, who's barely played. Yeah, I know he had an injury, hurt his hand. Believe been in the G League, but you spent a lottery pick on him out of UConn. You have Hayward still on that roster. You still have Terry Rozier, who I thought was going to be traded like a couple years ago. So the Hornets are in the Donovan Mitchell sweepstakes. I'm not gonna lie, that would be a fun ass team to watch. Like I could, Anno to help you win. The Hornets, you get LaMelo Ball's playmaking, his height, his length, alongside Donovan Mitchell. LaMelo feeding the ball to Mitchell, making things easier for him. I hate to say that would be freaking sexy to watch. But you look at the Hornets, I don't think they have the pieces. Like again, most of these teams have the draft picks, except the Heat. But the Hornets, PJ Washington, he had a very good first year, kind of fell off his second year with the Hornets. I think he's a quality player. Book Knight, unproven. Maybe they're like Book Knight still on a rookie contract. Let's give him a shot. He's a bucket getter coming out of UConn. Had some comparisons to Zach LaVine with his athleticism. Got Kai Jones, but he's an uncertainty. Maybe they throw Mark Williams. Bryce McGowan's, he's just playing the summer league. Like, he has a high upside. He's young as shit. Like 18, I believe, coming out of Nebraska, or 19. I think he could be good, but there's just so much uncertainty with these young guys that they haven't really proven anything. Or at least, yeah, Book Knight hasn't really played. Kai Jones hasn't really played. McGowan's hasn't. Washington's all right. Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that? I think the Hornets are completely out of it. What's going on, Luca? How you doing, man? I hope all is well. I just hope Leon Rose, if we're gonna trade for Mitchell, if we don't trade for Mitchell, I just hope he has the right plan and we have flexibility for the future. Like I'm only trading for Mitchell again. I understand we're gonna have to give up a good amount, but you have to have somewhat of flexibility within the cap, or still at the same time draft picks, even though we're gonna have to give up some unprotected. Like you're gonna have to be smart. You want Spider, Knicks fan? Um, I'll say this though, Chris. I appreciate you being here. If we get Mitchell, we're signing probably RJ right away. Like I really think so. Yes, the Knicks are the favorite in this deal. I believe they have the best quality assets to really give up for him, despite them being far away from the deal. I don't think it's far away from the deal like the Jazz are interested in talking to them right now. It's just like the Jazz want to do their due diligence and listen to these other teams as well. Yo, what's going on TMGF? Yeah, Miles Bridges. Ugh. What's going on TMGF? I hope all is well. What's going on? Ashley changed that profile picture to fire profile picture. I think Randall's more gifted than Collins, but Collins may be a better fit. I would trade Randall for a 3 and D plus a backup power forward. I'm kind of right there with you. I think Randall's more gifted, but well, it depends how you look at it because Collins is a better athlete. But I think the way people look at Collins' value compared to Randall, Randall wants to play with the ball in his hands. Collins is willing to play without the ball for team basketball. And whenever there's someone that has a better feel and could play without the ball, I feel like they value that player more, unless it's like a top option. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm happy with the way Leon Rose and the front office is approaching it. We're not giving up so much, or if they're asking for this amount still, like a week from now, I wouldn't be surprised if like Leon Rose walks away. Because that shows right there that he's looking towards the future. He is. And Donovan Mitchell is a fantastic player. You made a great point. Never been to the Western Conference Finals. I guess you could make excuses that it's like, yeah, you have Rudy Gobert, but he doesn't bring much offensively. You have Royce O'Neal's a solid defender, but do you trust him? He was kind of forced to play hero ball. You have Clarkson, but he's coming off the bench. Mike Conley, getting a little older. He made it for his first All Star team. Gobert was an All Star too, but he just didn't have that. Even if he comes to the Knicks, though, you could still say he hasn't really had that star next to him. No one was a star last year. You would have to bank on RJ becoming a star. You would have to bank on Randall, maybe not playing like a star, but playing better. So there's a risk. Even if we do trade for Mitchell, there's no guarantee. Maybe this team has more raw talent than the Jazz, but they're not proven talent. There's still not another star here. Um, I just jumped in and with over 50. Oh yeah, if you haven't already, smash that like button. I appreciate you guys being here. You can smash it if you like. I don't think that's realistic though. I don't see why the Hawks would want Randall over Hunter. I feel like Hunter they're holding on to unless they trade for Mitchell. But yeah, Sports Critic makes a great point in the chat. Another thing, why the hell would they trade for him? You'll have freaking unless you put Murray at the 3, that would be a small ass lineup. Left Trey. You already have DeJounte Murray. Like that would make no sense. I mean, if the Randall trade happens for Westbrook, I would package Fournier or Cam and give Westbrook. Well, the Westbrook trade only happens if we trade for Mitchell. If we trade for and Fournier would probably be a part of that trade because we need the salaries to match. Hey, and I wouldn't be that mad if it doesn't happen. I know some Knicks fans are Donovan Mitchell or bust, but I feel like there's other ways of constructing your team than just trading for a star right off the bat. But what's going on? Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. I think the Hornets will fall off because of them losing Miles Bridges. And prison is he's a loss for them. He is. Yo, what's going on, SY? How you doing? He says, Clutch B-Ball TV, youngest in the game with this Knicks shit salute. I really appreciate that. How you doing, man? I hope all is well. But yeah, the Hawks, I don't see. That's what I was afraid of with Leon, but now I'm glad that like the reports have come out and said that they're not gonna just give up everything for Donovan Mitchell because I felt like before I was kind of scared that Leon doesn't really care about constructing the team or putting the team together right. Like he knows talent, but it's just like how's the fit, with the Donovan Mitchell. You have to think about that part of it too. Or is Donovan Mitchell one of those types of players you trade for him and figure it out later, you know? But anyway, I don't think the Hornets have enough assets to personally trade for a Donovan Mitchell. So then you look at the Miami Heat. I, maybe they value Tyler Hero, but I don't see actually I don't see them valuing Tyler. Like they may value him, but they'll have to pay him. Duncan Robinson, he's getting paid a good amount of money. He can stretch the floor very well, but his defense isn't great, even though it's improving. Cuts well without the ball. Max Strus could shoot it, but and they have less picks than us. I don't see that happening. Then you look at the Kings. They can be a threat. I'll say the Kings will be a threat if they're stupid. I'm telling you right now, this is the same old freaking Kings if they do this shit right here. I would not be surprised if Donovan Mitchell is a freaking king if they pull this shit off. They're going to be like Keegan Murray. I would not be surprised if they put Keegan Murray in a deal. If this is the same old Kings, they put Davion Mitchell in there, and then they put picks. Because Keegan Murray, I think he's going to be a good player. I don't know if he'll be an all-star, but I think he'll be a damn good basketball player. He's NBA ready. Liked him coming out of Iowa. They have the picks. The reason why I'm Davion in there before De'Aaron Fox is because I don't think they want that De'Aaron Fox contract. But it's just such a Kings thing that it's just like, why would the Kings trade Keegan Murray and then they trade him, for Donovan Mitchell? They traded for Sabonis. You'll have Sabonis, you'll have Fox, you'll have Mitchell. So maybe they do that, but I don't know. They're just in a weird spot right now. Because you got win now mode players, and then you were just so bad to the point you had to take a swing on a draft pick. Yes, the Kings are so dumb that they could be a threat. Because they would I could see the Kings just rushing the process and trading Murray. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would not be surprised. I would trade for Fox. What would you give up? I think Fox is off the table for Kings at this point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mentioned that in my video. Despite Donovan Mitchell being a very good player, and maybe he's playing with more raw talent, how much like is the Knicks roster an upgrade compared to the Utah Jazz when it comes to proven talent? We don't have stars. Like the Jazz still had a guy of Rudy Gobert that made the All Star team, even though he was a liability in the playoffs. Conley still made the All Star team last year. Who made the All Star team? No one. Mitch still has some stuff to prove. RJ still has to prove himself. Randall needs to become smarter. That's what I'm saying. We give up our future to improve around, or do you take the risk? He's still an all-star player. I don't know. But if you haven't already smashed that like button, smash it. Yeah, we have Brunson too. We have Brunson. Why would we do that? Yeah, that would make no sense. So if I scroll down on this, obviously that was crazy. If you want to sub to my broad NBA channel, let's see if I have the link on my phone. It's called the Hoops Addict. I talk about broad NBA content on that. So I talked about this whole Jaylen Brown thing, which is crazy, and I think there might be some chemistry issues. Why is there a freaking toenail on the screen though? Um, Weird ass shit. Had to take that off the screen. Ooh, weird ass shit. All right, but it's pretty much just talking about how, along with New York, several other teams have expressed interest in to the Jazz when it comes to Mitchell, such as Washington, Miami, Toronto, Charlotte. Let's see. Talking about how there's no urgency. Yeah, and it just talks about Quinn Snyder and stuff. But do you guys think Donovan Mitchell is coming to the Knicks, or you think he's going somewhere else? I wouldn't be surprised at both situations. I would not be surprised at both situations. I have no idea what's going to happen. I feel like a lot of people around the league don't even know what's going to happen. I'm right there with you, Anthony. It's a wait and see game. I know Mitchell obviously it was good enough to make the playoffs. I don't think it's winning a championship because you need length, you need size. Unless you're a really damn good shooting team. Like if you don't have length, if you don't have consistent athleticism, which the Warriors still had Wiggins, you need high basketball IQ and you need to be able to shoot the ball. But Mitchell played with Mike Conley, who's 6'1" as well, but they didn't go far. Well, I'm sorry to tell you guys, Jalen Brunson is our point guard, not De'Aaron Fox. Okay? I think the Knicks know just what they need to give up. That could be at any other team's offer. Yeah, but I don't see anything unless Donovan Mitchell comes out and says, I want to go to the Heat. I don't see that happening because they don't really have much value to give up. What would they give up? Yes, we do, Kareem. What's going on, man? Um, I don't like that word, but I know what you're saying, Jared. I mean, we are the favorites. A team needs at least one top 20 to 25 player to be a playoff team to contend for a title. To contend for a title, a team needs at least two. Yeah, and we would have one if Donovan Mitchell comes here. Again, it depends on RJ's growth. If RJ doesn't take the next step, Leon will probably trade RJ. Like if RJ disappoints this upcoming season, like he improves but not to the point like an all-star, I could see him being gone if we have Mitchell. I could see that happening because we're going to be trying to win now with Donovan Mitchell. And I could see the same thing with Randall. If we don't trade him for Westbrook, he could be gone. Yeah, the Jazz are making the smart move by who do you guys think's gonna win that tanking sweepstakes of Victor Wembanyama? I just feel like it's meant to be the Spurs. I just have a feeling the Spurs are gonna win it. They tanked for Tim Duncan and now they're gonna get like another generational guy. Come on, Magic, do a trade. Danny Ainge has become a Sam Presti. I don't even think it's that. It's just like you have no choice. When you're rebuilding, you want to get as many picks back as possible. Not even just through the draft, just trading as well down the road. Let's see. Yeah, I like Fox. I'm not that high on Fox. Like Fox can't consistently shoot the basketball. He's inconsistent on defense. Obviously, he hasn't proven to win, but he's on a terrible organization. Like I'm much higher on Tyrese Halliburton than De'Aaron Fox. That's just my opinion, though. I'm much higher on Tyrese Halliburton than De'Aaron Fox. He has to be a star. RJ has to be a star because our ceiling's going to be limited if he doesn't reach the star. But yeah, hopefully see you again. Would you guys be upset if we don't get Donovan Mitchell? Let me know in the chat. Like, I'm personally someone that wouldn't freaking like go crazy. I know some Knicks fans. I know Twitter's gonna go crazy if we don't get Donovan Mitchell. Why people hate Randall? He's a 2010 5 guy. Only we have 4 players in the league that has those numbers. Jeremy Grant averaged 20 points per game as well when he was the top option. And you have to look at the context. It's not just Randall's stats. Look at the efficiency. Look at the shots he took. Look at his terrible attitude. Look at his effort. It's more than just numbers. You would be upset, Zev? Yeah, I can see us trying to trade him. Or are we going to do like the Andrew Wiggins situation that maybe doesn't live up to it, but we have to give him the contract anyway? I don't know. Remember that when Andrew Wiggins didn't live up to the first overall pick, Timberwolves extended him anyway? We got a couple of yeses in the chat. Yeah, I don't hate Randall. Like, Randall frustrates me. He pissed me off last year, but it's just like, who wouldn't get pissed off at someone that had terrible attitude and just he wasn't playing good. You could look at the numbers, but he's a top option. Of course he's going to put up those numbers. But he's a New York Knick. I'm going to support him as long as he's a New York Knick. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Chris. If we don't trade Mitchell, then I think it's going to be rebuild. Um, Trade for Mitchell, it's going to be. Well, this is the thing. Everyone's saying, oh, we've been rebuilding for years. We've never rebuilt right. We never built this team right. We always skip a step. Always. True Knicks fans know we haven't rebuilt this team right in years. And we have to trust Leon that he's actually building it right. Yeah, Randall's a good player. He's just not built for New York. He's not built for the bright lights. Hopefully he shuts me up and he becomes smarter. Like, he's talented. He just doesn't have it up here. Then we should trade RJ. If his ceiling's Harrison Barnes, we should trade him. So you want to take the risk. I understand that perspective, Jay. I really do. Yes, I'll be upset if we don't get Donovan because we'll be stuck with mediocre talent. We have to be relevant again. Yeah, I feel like that's the worst spot you could be in, being stuck in mediocrity. Like, that's the spot the Magic were in that they made the first round. They had solid talent. Like, that's the Pacers, too. Miles Turner, Malcolm Brogdon, Sabonis. Solid to good players. But it's just like, even when healthy, even when Brogdon's healthy, can you see them winning the big thing? No. The Magic, when they like Vucevic, when they have Fournier, Aaron Gordon, all solid to good players, but you're not winning the big thing with them. That's why I thought it was a smart ass approach by trading away Vucevic, you know? Because Wendell Carter Jr. is good. He just had to stay healthy. I don't know if I said this in my mock draft video. I had Banchero as the number one overall pick. I thought he was the safest player in the draft. I thought like if like I think he's the lowest chance of busting. I really do. I think he's gonna be good no matter what. Banchero's good, very good. We gotta hope we rebuild it right, Jay. Exactly, Karam. You can't skip a step. That's why some people were mad that Donovan Mitchell, yeah, is a star player we're trading for. Some people look at him as a superstar. I don't. I think he's a little under superstar. Because I just have the word superstar, the term superstar, to like set to such a high standard. Um, yeah, Franz Wagner's good. I like him. Suggs needs to do better. I think he'll be fine though. Rose, our president, isn't built for New York. Never talks in public. Fans should get respect, especially Knicks fans. I'm gonna see what he does. I'm not gonna judge Leon. See what happens this upcoming season. Yup, you guys, you guys do have the Bulls pick too. And Vucevic, he's a good offensive big man, but he just doesn't play much defense. And the Bulls, you saw the rumors, like obviously Vucevic is gonna be back, but they were trying to trade Vucevic. Like you need that interior defense. Like he's very skilled, he's special, that he can stretch the floor, has good footwork, but you got to be able to consistently play defense. What I say, Cash Out James? What I say? If RJ doesn't, because this is the thing, you can kind of have patience with Mitchell because he's under contract a few years. If we get Mitchell, RJ doesn't live up to All Star status or doesn't take a big leap, you have to trade him. You have to. Star driven league, if you like it or not, you have to. And I hope he becomes a star, but you're gonna have to. I see. I love this right now. This is what I love about the Knicks. Sometimes I forget James Dolan's our owner. That's how good of a job he's doing staying out the way. Like you can't even blame Dolan anymore. Anyone blaming Dolan, you're just being negative to be negative. Like he hasn't talked in forever. I feel like you can't even blame him anymore. I'm not defending Dolan, but it's just like he hasn't said shit. Most picks I would do is 5 with Fournier and IQ. Obviously, most of them will have to be unprotected. I would do that. I don't know if the Jazz would. But what's going on, John? I hope all is well. The young guys need a few years to hit their prime. The cap is projected to be as high. Yeah, the cap is going up. The cap is going up. I'm starting to not even care about like these contracts anymore because certain teams like the Thunder, they're such a young team that like they're in the position that they didn't have to pay a lot of players, but it's like the league's rules that you're gonna have to pay them. Like looking back at the way the Dort contract is constructed, it's not that bad as I thought it was originally. But you just have to pay players nowadays. It's just how it is. I don't even think there's such thing as bad contracts anymore. Yeah, Jerry Jones, that's a whole other story. I hope he lives to be like 120. Um, yeah, Leon's pretty much in control of most of it. Mostly, I'm starting to get that way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of getting tired of talking about Donovan Mitchell. Most of my content's been Donovan Mitchell. Cause I made that video on Trevor Keels in the draft, but I'm not that high on him to be honest. I'm not. Not really much to talk about. And you guys signed Cam Williams. I saw that. But yeah, I'm over this trade talk. It's overrated. Yeah, I talked about it like 30 minutes into the show, 40 minutes into the show. I wanted to start reading your comments because I didn't want to keep repeating myself like this, you know? Because it's just like, I feel like we talk about this shit so much. But what's going on, Anthony? Or how long have I been left? 50 minutes? How many likes we have? We have 57 people watching, but we only have 31 likes. Can we get 40 likes? Can we get 50 likes? I don't think Keel's gonna play a lot. He's gonna be on a two-way. He's gonna be on a two-way. I understand he's the guy that does the little things, but this is the thing I'm tired of though with Tibbs. I really hope this isn't an approach with Tom Thibodeau. You know when we drafted like McBride, this is Tibbs' guy. Grimes has turned out to be pretty damn solid for the 25th overall pick. So I'm okay with that being a Tibbs guy. Tibbs liked him. But why are we drafting like Tibbs guy? Just draft the best fucking player, bro. I don't care if Tibbs likes him or not. Like, yeah, actually, that's not fair. You want your organization and your coach or your front office and your coach to be on the same page, but why do we have to draft Tibbs guys? Like, just freaking draft the best talent. If Tibbs doesn't like him, get him out. Yeah, we need to start like swinging for the fences a little bit, in my opinion. That's why I wasn't even that mad. If you guys saw my reaction, I kind of overreacted, not gonna lie, because then I started to see Leon's plan. Like that's why in my video I wasn't even that mad that we took Usman Jen, because I'm like, he's tall, he can handle the ball, he could pass, he may be a project, but we need some high upside type of guy. That's why I wasn't even that mad when I saw we drafted him at first. I don't think Mark Jackson will ever get a head coaching job again. It's not because of his coaching, it's because of his beliefs outside of basketball that I'm not going to be getting into. But you think Mitchell to the Heat wouldn't make them a contender? Yeah, that was a smart ass move. I wonder what the Heat would give. I don't see the Heat though, like getting Donovan Mitchell. I don't. Yeah, I know it's just summer league, but Keels looked like shit. I'm not gonna lie. If like it's just summer league at the end of the day, but he looked bad. It looked like he came out too early. It really does. You guys aren't trading Shea. Yeah, it's just bogus, bro. It's just bogus. It's all bogus, bro. Anthony says Obi, French guy. I guess Fournier. Um, quickly Grimes and 5 first for Durant. Yeah, I don't think we're going after Durant. Haven't seen any reports that we're going after Durant. I think the Celtics are. Well, obviously, yeah, the Jaylen Brown thing came out, which I think like Durant. I understand he's so good. He's one of the best players we'll ever see. But who are you guys higher on, Brown or Tatum? Because Jaylen Brown wasn't the reason you guys lost the finals. He was one of the main reasons you got there. I guess they're just thinking that Tatum, Kevin Durant, Brogdon, if he stays healthy, are winning a championship. But Jaylen Brown's freaking 25. Like, if you gain experience, and let's say they get there again, I feel like they have a chance to win more championships because Brown's only 25 and he's continuing to get better. He averaged 23 in the finals. I don't know. I don't know. I think that would be a mistake. Like, longevity wise, that would be a mistake. Like, I don't think there's a wrong answer. Everyone has different thoughts on the Brown Tatum thing. Yeah, I don't think they're getting him either, and I don't. They don't have the same draft picks as well to get him. What's going on, Bella? Says Tatum Brown. I need to drink a lot of water because I'm getting my wisdom teeth taken out tomorrow. Tatum's a franchise player. Yeah, the defense has definitely played Tatum a lot different. Brown obviously was much better than Tatum in those finals. Just what the defenses throw at Tatum's much different. Obviously, he turned the ball over a lot. No excuses. He played bad though. He played bad. What what Brown have? He had like 34 in Game 7, I believe, or Game 6. Oh, this is just a broad question. Just a broad question. I guess it's just a game, you know. Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. Um, OBIQ, Grimes, Deuce, Cam. Who do you extend? Who do you let walk? If we're just playing like a game on realistic, Deuce, I'm letting walk. I'm not that high on Deuce. Plays hard defensively. Can't create his own shot. You got to be able to create your own shot or create separation when you're 6'1". Grimes, you extend. IQ, you have to extend IQ. But it's like such a hard game to play because Grimes just played his first year and he barely played. Yeah, we liked what we saw in limited action, but still needs to prove himself. Like, I actually can't answer any of these. Obi still needs to prove himself because, you know, it's so sad. We don't consistently give our 8th overall pick minutes. IQ still needs to prove himself. Grimes still needs to. Deuce just could walk, though. I don't see him playing much. And Cam. So, you can't really answer any of those, to be honest. You really can't. Yeah, I honestly think it'd be stupid as well. Yeah, they have different games. I'm right there with you, Joe. I like Trey, man. I don't know if you saw Karam during, what was that, 2020 draft? No, he was drafted in 2021, I believe. Yeah, because it was just his second year, I believe. No, I'm trying to think at the top of my head. No, was that just his first? I don't remember. But I made a video on Trey, man, and I like Trey, man, a lot. I did. Yeah, I was having like a brain fart. He was drafted 2020, 2021. He was drafted, yep. Yep. Because we traded so much in that draft. Eventually, we traded back, got Grimes. I'm happy with that. But I remember we had Keon Johnson traded. I'm not that high on Keon. He can't shoot at all, but he's athletic and defend. Traded Kai Jones. Like, we traded like 2 or 3 times on draft night. That was wild. I'm not getting much smarter anyway, Ashley. Um, but that's crazy if that is true. So just saying, if any Donovan Mitchell news comes out tomorrow, which I don't think so because it says they're far away from the deal, any big time news comes out tomorrow and I don't report on it, it's because I got my wisdom teeth taken out. Grimes, Deuce, and Keels and French can go in the trade. Appreciate you guys being here, by the way. I really do appreciate it. I wasn't planning on going live, but then I saw the reports. And we're 10 likes away from 50 likes. I appreciate that, yo. I really do. I need to start making more mods. Because when I did those Summer League streams, when I had a good amount of people in here, gosh, it's not even asking for the TV. It's just like weird comments, racist comments. Like, it's bad. I need to start, like, modding people more. But I only mod people if they know how to use it, you know? That's why I don't throw out the mods. Like, just give people mods. Because, like, I don't know. Some people just abuse the power and just time out people for no reason. Like, if I give people mods, it's for spam, racist, disrespectful comments, um, show the screen, like that type of stuff. Yeah, KD's still terrific, but I just don't understand it either. Like, my only thought is we're going all in, trying to win a championship as soon as possible. But if you're Brown, wouldn't you be upset? Like, if I'm Brown, I'm upset right now. I'm like, you're trying to trade me? Like, I think there's gonna be some chemistry issues there within the organization. Yeah, I do like Trey, man. I do. My goal before the stream's over, 50 likes. We're 5 away. I know we can get there, yo. Wait, out of jealousy, not even you with mods. What do you mean, Joe? I can see that they both have big contracts. Hayward's value probably isn't a lot because he can't stay healthy. I don't think it's happening though. If it says we're far away from the deal and they're discussing with them, he put it on Twitter. I love Jaylen Brown. I don't like the Celtics, but I love Jaylen Brown. I don't say no, but I don't think the Celtics would do that. Thank you, Jan. I really appreciate that. How you doing, Knicks Cave? I hope all is well. DM me on Twitter if you can, bro. So then we can collab on your channel or my channel. I'm cool with whatever. My Twitter's it's just Clutch B-Ball TV. Oh yeah, I'm right there with you, Joe. Yeah, some people like I'm a big fan of Bad Dog Sports and the Entertainer Talking Sports. They've had times that like if you hand out mods, just those mods just abuse the power and timeout people block them for no reason. Yeah, it's wild on YouTube. You can't trust people. Like I love you guys, but I don't know you guys personally at the same time. You know? Yeah, no problem, man. Whenever you're available, no rush at all. No rush. But I appreciate being here. I'm trying to think though. I don't know if Karam's been a mod in any other streams. I might give Karam a mod. He's pretty consistent in here. But my rules would be again, time out people if they're spamming, if they're being racist, disrespectful, asking us like, can I see the TV if I ever stream games? I don't stream games a lot, but I feel like it should be pretty common sense. But if someone's trolling, like don't time them out. Like I could have fun with that. Maybe it's possible, Danny. Um, I wonder what else was in that deal because the Nets rejected that. Like I said in my video on my Broad NBA channel, like if there was a good amount in that deal, like I don't think you're getting a player like Jaylen Brown back. Like you capitalized on that opportunity right there. Like you're saying no to Jaylen Brown? I know it's Kevin Durant. It's hard to give him up to get like equal value, but Jaylen Brown, fucking damn good player. Damn good. And thank you guys so much for the great amount of support, by the way. I really appreciate it. But that's my Broad NBA channel right there. If you want to check it out, just uploaded a video on there. Cause I was thinking about like making Broad NBA videos on here, but I was like, let's be real, I'm barely gonna get views. Barely anyone's gonna check those out. So I was like, I'm just gonna make a separate channel. Cause this is just Knicks now. Some of us keep it real, Quran. We have some crazy fans. The next cave says, "Hey, no, at work. Boss is calling me. Tried to steal a few minutes. I seen your post earlier, so I definitely wanted to catch a little bit of your show. As usual, you're doing a great job. Let's go next." Well, I really appreciate that, man. That means a lot. You're doing a great job as well. I love seeing your growth. Ignore the haters on YouTube, because there's going to be so much hate on YouTube, and you're doing a great job, bro. I'm really proud of you. But thank you. Um, Never get an equal value for a star. Yeah, it's impossible, bro. It's hard as shit. Like the Knicks got lucky with that Porzingis trade. It sucks KP got hurt. It does, cause I don't think people understand. Yes, KP didn't rebound a lot. He didn't wasn't great at posting up. When he put on muscle, he didn't use it efficiently. But if you like, I don't even hate on KP anymore. He's not on the Mavs. When you watched KP, healthy KP, when he was healthy, KP moved so fluid. He moved so special for someone that's 7'3". He was damn special, bro. He was. Yeah, I think he's staying with Brooklyn. What's going on, Reggie? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, you gotta take him. F the who? Well, I appreciate that, Joe. I liked KP on the Knicks. He wasn't perfect, but he moved special. He moved special. And like I think I dropped 10 viewers talking about KP. Like I don't hate KP no more. Like yeah, he was kind of an asshole the way he exited on social media and all that, but that's crazy how long ago that was now. What was that? 2018? 2017? Well, you could say initial value back. We didn't get a lot. Wesley Matthews, one of the worst Knicks I've ever seen. Outside of that, he's been a solid player. DeAndre Jordan was okay, but he was older. We got draft picks. We got Dennis Smith Jr. He didn't really end up being anything. But then I believe us trading away KP freed up cap space to the point that we're able to trade Mark or sign Marcus Morris, which we flipped into quickly. The Mavs pick, I believe, resulted in Grimes. I'm trying to think who that resulted in because we traded that pick so much. Like it helped with cap space. We got quick, like after signing Marcus Morris and flipping it into quickly. Um, Donovan, 2026 NBA champs. Ben Simmons can't deal with New York. He's a headache, bro. Yo, KP was one of my favorite players. Thank you guys so much for 50 likes, by the way. I appreciate it. I know a lot of people burnt their KP jerseys, but my mom paid for that shit, like when I was younger. I'm not gonna burn it. It's just rotting in my closet. It doesn't even fit me no more. I don't have a lot of jerseys. I have an so I have my signed Charles Oakley jersey, which is over there. Um, I have an RJ jersey, and then I have that Porzingis jersey. Stephen A's not even a Knicks fan. He's such a casual, bro. Stephen A doesn't know anything. Yeah, KP actually played pretty well for the Wizards at the end. Um, but let's see how long I've been live. I've been live for like an hour. I'll read like a couple more comments and then I'll head out. Yeah, it's just the overreaction. Like I know LeBron got his jersey burnt. Came back, obviously won a championship though, which helps. The Kevin Durant one, you could say, is kind of different. Bro, I want to get a Brunson jersey. So I'm always so scared to buy jerseys though, because players get traded so much. Like I don't want to buy a quickly jersey, and he ends up being traded in a couple days for Donovan Mitchell. Brunson, that's a safe bet, but jerseys are so expensive nowadays. I swear. You could buy a Mitch. See, these are the safe jerseys to buy right now. It's RJ, Mitch, Brunson. Is that it? That might be it. Gosh, I remember when we hyped that up back then. Do you guys remember? I don't know if it might have just been me. Our expectations were so like we hyped up the most mid players or players that weren't even that great. We were getting excited, or at least I was back then. I used to be high on Frank, and then I jumped off the wagon. I was like, oh my gosh, could you imagine Kevin Knox developing? You have Porzingis coming back. You have Frank Ntilikina. Oh my gosh. I'm at work right now with nothing but oh, come on. Don't disrespect Sim like that. Don't disrespect Sim like that. But I appreciate you listening. Sims, Sim is the godfather of Knicks. He's the godfather. Adding Donovan Mitchell would mean RJ's locked in at the three, and I think that he's better at the two. So I have mixed feelings, but Donovan's history in New York. Yeah, he's a Mets fan. He's always tweeted about the damn Mets. Like everyone thinks, oh, he's coming to the Knicks because he tweets about one thing about the Mets. Like, uh. But what's the biggest concern for you guys if we get Mitchell? I think the consensus answer is the size in the backcourt with Brunson 6'1", Mitchell 6'1". He's played with a 6'1" guard of Mike Conley, but what's up with these heights changing in the NBA though? When he came in the league, he was 6'3". Now he's 6'1". They measure him differently. Like those guys are gonna try defensively, but it's just facts. When it comes playoff time with length, with switches, they're gonna struggle. But I think Mitchell's IQ scares me the most. Because I remember mentioning that in my video. Does Mitchell, he's a superstar talent, but I feel like he's an all-star player that doesn't have superstar basketball IQ. Like Luka Doncic has superstar basketball IQ. LeBron James has a superstar basketball IQ. Jokic does. You have to have it up here. You have to know when to give it the ball. You have to make the right plays, but also know when to take over. I didn't buy a Randall jersey. Let me know in the chat if you have a Randall jersey. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I'm glad I never bought a Frank Ntilikina jersey. I wonder how many people out there own a Frank Knicks jersey. I think like the cheapest jerseys out there, like the Jeremy Lin jerseys. I want a poster of Hazonia's block on LeBron. Oh my gosh. I bet LeBron was so embarrassed after that. Bro, Moutier led that comeback. Hazonia, oh my. I think Dotson even got some big buckets. Knox was big down the stretch. That's so freaking corny to look back at. So corny. Yeah, I don't buy jerseys a lot. They're just expensive, and especially when they've become Nike. Damn, Nike makes. I know the quality's higher, but I liked when they were Adidas. I like that personally because it was cheaper. I'm a little cheap. I'm a little cheap, I guess. But let's see. Read a couple more comments and I'll head out. I appreciate you guys. That's why I don't want Mitchell. What's going on, Carlos? I hope all is well. DM. Oh, Donovan Mitchell is not asked out. He's willing to forfeit his trade kicker to make trade easier. What does that mean? He wants out from me. Well, that's the latest report I have read, and it's coming out by Shams. The Jazz are in no rush to trade Donovan Mitchell because he doesn't want out. He never said he wants out, and he's a few years left on his contract, so they could take their time with him. I personally don't think he wants out. I just think he has a preferred destination. We have heard from Woj, I think he talked about on ESPN, what was that, a week ago? I forgot what show was on SportsCenter, that like he does have a preferred destination. It might be the Knicks. Just because he's a preferred destination doesn't mean he wants like completely out though. Um, but you got to choose a side. It seems like he's 50-50. I don't. He'll be traded though. It comes down to the Jazz. Only safe Knicks jerseys to buy are Ewing, Starks, and Frazier. What's my favorite food? Pizza. That's a boring ass answer though. Lasagna. Now I don't have one favorite food. That's the most important. That's the most impossible question ever. But I like lasagna. I like pizza. I like hot wings. Um, I like pastelas. Puerto Rican food. Yeah, I have an Oakley jersey. Doesn't fit me though. Stoudemire jersey. Never had a Stoudemire jersey. Yeah, that's true. I don't want to buy like fake jerseys though. Maybe maybe I'll buy a fake jersey if it's to the point it looks real. Yeah, I don't have like a favorite food. I don't have. I love tacos, like burgers. Yeah, I'm part Puerto Rican, even if I don't look it. My mom's Puerto Rican. My grandma's Puerto Rican. All right, question before I head out. I say hell no, but everyone has their own answer. Pineapple on the pizza. Do you do it? I like pizza with vegetables. I don't mind like spinach on there. I don't mind mushrooms. Yo, what's going on, Drew? I hope all is well. I just don't see this Mitchell deal ever getting done now that all these other teams are in the running. It sounds like Leon backed down and realized he had all of the leverage. And would you be okay with that if Leon does back out? Do you want him? Are you okay with not getting him, Drew? John says, hell no. I don't. I've never had it, but I don't put the pineapple on the pizza. Jay says yes. TMGF says no. Reggie says yeah. And Joe says no. That kind of surprised me. You got a couple yeses. Usually I like, when people ask that question, everyone says hell no. Mango pizza. Never had that. Good point, Captain and Coke. And I still think we have the best deal, Drew, to throw at him. Unless the Hawks are willing to give up like DeAndre Hunter. I know the Jazz will have to pay him. But I think we still have one of the best deals out there when it comes to draft picks and young players. Nutella pizza? Okay, that's just wild. But yeah, guys, we're getting a little sidetracked. Christian says yes. Well, guys, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys are absolutely amazing. We reached over 50 likes. And yeah, we nearly had 60 likes, 57 likes. Thank you. So, we'll see what happens with this whole Donovan Mitchell situation. I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to get tired of talking about freaking Donovan Mitchell. Not going to lie at all. I want to actually be able to talk about real basketball, but we know it's like the dead time of the season. That's awesome, Joe. You make pizza in your apartment. Yeah, you guys love the Hawaiian pizza, but yeah, I don't see it happening either. I don't think Donovan Mitchell's going there. I don't know. See, this shit could be fake as hell from Shams. He could be defending some organization because why the hell would they have Trey Young, DeJounte? That just makes no sense to me. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay safe.